Hey everybody, what's up? It's about 11:31, and many of you might know and notice that I'm a fan. Sometimes I do listen to, and I am a bit of an avid fan, the JaydubShow, and he's got this program, radio, little blog thing going at the PWF Empire. I guess that's what it's called. And every now and then, Jay ends up bringing out, uploading clips of certain topics they talk about on his show. So 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 I listen to those to think, okay, is it something that makes sense? Is it something that's intriguing? And at times it is. But one of the things they talked about just now, because I was just listening to it, and this is a question a lot of people have been having about Mania, and that is, what would the role of the Miz be? What would the role of the Miz be at WrestleMania? You see, everybody wants to know exactly what he might do. Now, if you're a fan of the Miz, and there are many that are, believe it or not, you kind of want to know exactly what does WWE have planned for the Miz going into Mania. You want to know exactly what the WWE has planned for the Miz going into Mania. So, you want to know what the WWE has planned for the Miz going into Mania. Well, a lot of people have come up with their own theories, including even wrestling insiders and insiding sites and all that have come up with their own theories. Some have said that the Miz, well, in fact, this is probably the most talked about speculation, but a lot of people feel that the Miz, according to numerous inside sources, the plan for the Miz is to interfere in the Rock-Cena match. Now, to me, if you got someone like the Miz and you're planning to have him interfere in Rock and Cena, that kind of tells me from a booking standpoint that as much build as you're putting behind Rock and Cena, including going as far as having a whole week, basically in all your networks that you own, from USA to G4 to Oxygen to whatever, all your NBC related programs, all your NBC Universal Comcast related networks and channels, if you're going as far as to have each and every one of them broadcast a 1-hour documentary of Cena Rock once in a lifetime, then, if you're doing that only from a booking standpoint, to me, that tells you, if they're doing all that it is going to be the last match. But then again, if booking-wise, you're going to have the Miz interfere, if you're planning on that, then as much build as you're doing for this Rock Cena deal with the documentaries and everything, and only to have it at the second to last match of the night, kind of tells me that would be why Miz would interfere. Because that way they don't have to close out the show on Miz interfering in all that. That way they can close out the show on a higher number, basically in a better way, if you will. But that's just one way people are looking at it. Some people are looking at it like that. And again, that's probably the most talked about reasoning that people on the inside, like Wrestling News World, Ringside News, PW Torch, Pro Wrestling Insider, they're all talking about this. They're all saying that that's the possibility. Now, of course, there are other several sources out there, fans and insiders, fans and insiders, if you will, that have also indicated that the way things are playing out storyline-wise, that from a storyline perspective, that The Miz may be added to one of the teams at WrestleMania. I mean, when you think about it, both teams just about have one slot left. But the thing is exactly who's going to occupy each slot. Now, I've come out and said that it would be kind of funny if they turned the 12-man into a 12-person and added Oksana and Vicky as the last two members. But we don't know that. All we know is that it's either going to be Rey Mysterio, Brodus Clay, or somebody else for Team Teddy, and it's going to be Del Rio, most definitely, for Team Laurinaitis. We know that. But do we know if it's going to be The Miz? Do we know it's going to be Rey Mysterio? Do we know it's going to be Brodus Clay? We don't. Possibilities still indicate that. But then, I was listening to this podcast, and one of the contributors to it said he finds the possibility, in the realm of possibility, of The Miz being part of Team Teddy. Now you say to yourself, no way. The Miz part of Team Teddy? That's not going to work. You never know. It might. Now this guy indicated, he said that, you know, that they're going to do, by doing this, they're going to turn The Miz face. That might be true, or so you think. Or so you think they're going to turn The Miz face. So you think. You see, WWE, despite who does the writing and all that, is known for swerves. They're known for swerves. They're known for swerves. They are. All wrestling promotions in the wrestling business are known to do this. Let me give you an example. 1994, WCW. 1995, WCW. Let me kind of indicate on that for a second. 1994, Dustin Rhodes trusted Arn Anderson in his feud with the Stud Stable. What happened? What happened? Beach Blast, or Bash at the Beach, what happened? Arn Anderson stabbed Dustin Rhodes in the back. Alright? A year later, Ric Flair was embroiled in a feud with Arn Anderson. Sting trusted Flair to be his partner. And what did Ric Flair do? Stab Sting in the back. The thing is, folks, wrestling has been known to do this. So here's the deal. Yes, from a story standpoint, making Miz part of Team Teddy Long would make sense so he can get even with John Laurinaitis. Or would it? See, what could happen is that The Miz could be the surprise member of Team Teddy, but then in the end, screw Team Teddy out of it with the promise possibly from Laurinaitis that, hey, if you screw Team Teddy, I'll give you a WWE title match under your rules. Or whatever. Just saying. That's the realm of possibility when it comes to it. Because that would be a moment, if you want to talk about WrestleMania moments, that would be a moment. But we're not saying that could possibly be true or not. I'm just saying, to me, that, along with him interfering in Rock and Cena's match, is in the true realm of possibility. Now, one other perspective they brought up is if The Miz interferes in Hell in a Cell. Now, trying to take my time here. Okay, just making sure. Now, that is if Miz interferes in Hell in a Cell. Now, that too is a realm of possibility. And again, just like with Rock Cena, that would show where exactly the match would be booked at if he interferes. Because if they're going to have The Miz interfere in Triple H, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, then yeah, that'll probably be the second to last match of the night. But then again, maybe it will and maybe it won't be. You see, it's all depending on booking. And believe it or not, it sounds like The Miz, to me, is like the wild card. The Team Leonidas, the Team Leonidas, the 12-man seems more like a logical choice to me. Seems like a more logical choice. But in the realm of possibilities besides that, the booking of the two main event hyped up matches of Rock Cena and End of an Era, Miz is the wild card in the eyes of many. If they book him to interfere in Rock Cena, then all the build-up you're doing to Rock Cena to WrestleMania, only to have it like the second to last match of the night, will be all for naught. Because people are expecting Rock Cena to be the last match. Now, I can understand from a booking aspect that if Miz does interfere, that if it is the last match, and Miz does interfere, and basically, let's say, causes both of them to double pin each other, that would be a moment. That would be like a moment, and if not, a controversial way of ending Mania, because then you would have The Miz basically saying, hey, you guys have not yet proven who's the better man because of me. Because of me, you guys don't know who's the better man. And that would probably lead into maybe a SummerSlam triple threat. Who knows? You know, and I'm not ruling out the possibility of him interfering in Hell in a Cell, because that could build up to Miz and Undertaker at SummerSlam, or Miz and Triple H at SummerSlam, maybe Miz and Taker at Mania next year. But we don't know that. See, these are all realms of possibility, and believe it or not, with the exception of the 12th man being a more logical fit maybe for him, I see him as a wild card with the other two. I do. And then how the booking and positioning on the card where those matches will be because whether or not they're going to decide which one he'll interfere in. Now again, I can understand if you have him part of Team Long, and let's say he does turn face, and let's say he does, cost Team Leonidas the match. Okay, let's say he does this. Basically, that'd be a good storyline. He'd come out and say, hey, Johnny, you didn't want to take me seriously. You didn't want to put me on WrestleMania. You wanted to put yourself, a non-charismatic nobody, in a spotlight, along with another no-charismatic as your captain. Next time, maybe you should have made a better decision. And that would work. That would work. That would work from a story aspect, because then you can spawn them off with those that were part of Team Leonidas. And maybe even eventually, if Daniel Bryan's still the world champion after, spawn him off into a world title story, feud with Daniel Bryan. But this time the roles reversed. Bryan the heel, Miz the face. But again, I don't know. I think more logical would be he would screw Team Long. So, I don't know. But again, the booking of the two main events, in my opinion, depend on Miz being the wild card. How are you going to book him to interfere? Are you going to have him interfere in Cena Rock or Triple H Taker? And if that's the case, which one will be positioned second to last because of that? So, that's all I'm going to say. Comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll talk to y'all later.